I think that all that you've said, I think it speaks to the urgency of whatever HPPD is, whatever this set of symptoms is, because we're seeing more and more people taking psychedelics outside of in adult use settings. I think I saw statistics from I think they were released last month that suggested that the use of psychedelics amongst college age US
have increased during the pandemic. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think it's higher since 1982, and now 1/5 of American college age individuals have tried psychedelics. And then in these adult use kind of non-clinical settings, I think that your ability to properly integrate will be really constrained, because there's our whole caring profession, psychologists, psychotherapeutics, psychiatric infrastructure, it just doesn't really know what it's talking about when it comes to psychedelics, at least from the reports I hear. And I think that as you have this trend of increasing adult use and maybe an unprepared infrastructure to kind of contain and help integrate these experiences, I think that there is a kind of gap left in which the distress that these changes can cause will only be left to fester. And I mean, the lack of integration, I think, personally, definitely increased whatever distress I've experienced through my HPPD. I mean, especially because, as I mentioned earlier, like a lot of these guys are just teenagers taking psychedelics. And me, I was a 17-year-old who thought, and my idea about psychedelics was that you have to increase your dose every time you do it, because the more you do, the better. Mm-hmm. So by my fourth trip, within 3 months, I was taking 200 micrograms, and I'd only tripped the weekend before. So this is another problem of teenagers, is that they're kind of fucking idiots. They think they know what they're doing, and they really don't.
Well, I think there's something explicitly about that time in their brain development that they're not very good at being able to track consequences, risk consequences in their decisions.
No. Yeah. So I was not prepared for the 200 microgram experience, and it was a pretty challenging, unpleasant trip. And I think that the unpleasantness, I mean, the research suggests that HPPD symptoms or HPPD changes, especially when they cause distress, are more likely when you've had a traumatic or anxiety and panic laden experience. And for me, that was a pretty unpleasant experience. So you have adult use as a whole increasing, especially amongst young people with developing brains and evidence suggests, although very tentatively, that these changes are more likely with the developing brain, where your neurons are still kind of in this flux state, they haven't properly set. I think that one real way to kind of make sure these changes don't become distressing is it has to be structural, it has to be systemic. Mm-hmm. There needs to be more psychedelic integration therapists. There needs to be more awareness amongst counselors that, there's this psychedelic tsunami happening right now. It seems to be pointing in one direction, and you're going to have more people coming to you for help. I mean, in the UK, where I'm based, I'd say there are probably maybe 5 specialist psychedelic therapists. And you're going to have, and I think that you're going to have thousands of people turning on psychedelics every year, some portion of whom will want to try and integrate. Mm-hmm. I think that more than ever, integration is being emphasized, although I think still not enough. So HPPD, it's not just going to be an issue of, let's find the perfect pharmacological treatment. You'll take this pill.
That's never really the great solution anyways, despite the medical pharma infrastructure continuing to press that is the way forward.
Right. Yeah. It has to be structural. I mean, I think that this is a point that's been made before by others, but I think that to really contain the psychedelic experience and its possible weirdnesses like these changes, we need to psychedelicize psychology.